Ready, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
That, you're trash. That's why Mom never loved you.
Okay.
You're trash.
Alright.
You have trash moves.
Let me go here.
That's a trash move right there. Trash.
Here.
Complete trash. Garbage. Trash.
Where's your bishop gonna go?
It's gonna go back here. You're trash. You're trash.
Man, these hustlers out here are rough, guys.
They're like spamming like the button.
Yes,
Trash, like,
yes, I know.
Like, just spamming.
Yep. That's the outlaw in one word, spam.
Trash.
And now what? Neil, close your ears, Neil. You can't listen to these words. You're too young. You probably think that chess players play each other with respect, right? You would think, yeah. Not this guy. Is this opening unplayable, by the way? Does anybody know about that?
I don't know, I just got out here. My dad wanted me to
Total trash.
I guess that comes before total annihilation, right?
Still here because you're trash.
I'm getting everything I want out of this position.
Mom doesn't love you. That is true.
You know, when in doubt, you just put your bishop on an optimal square, and you pray.
I don't get those people that just rev their motorcycle engines as loud as possible.
Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
No.
There you go.
That's right, you're trash. He's trash, that's what just happened. Double trash.
Double?
I said double.
Alright, come back. I didn't know. Was I supposed to do something?
Yep, you didn't see it.
Okay. Okay. Why can't I have this phone? Why?
Oh, did I give that for free? I'm so sorry.
And can I come here? Maybe?
Can you?
Looks like I can. Looks like I can.
Are you sure? Trash.
I go backwards.
Trash.
feel like I'm supposed to be scared of this, but I'm not really.
Trash. 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 Trash.
Are you crying or what?
I think you're about to.
Has the Outlaw ever leaked his real name?
Never.
So many times, so many times. Has the Outlaw ever lost on YouTube? So many times, so many times.
Again?
I haven't gone to the bathroom.
You went. You went. We're getting concerned. I thought you brought it in.
I want my charger down there charging batteries, Justin. The Outlaw. Trade the girls. Yep, it is. Yes. Queen. The Outlaw loses.
Welcome back to the channel. This matchup between the Outlaw and myself was off the charts, hilarious, insane, a bit of a blunderfest at certain points in the game. Definitely upon later examination of this game, you see many ideas that you miss during the actual play. But that's part of chess. That's what helps us to continue to grow in the game and to get us better and better all the time. There are really 4 critical positions in this game, and I'm going to take you with me through all of them. Prepare to laugh, cry, whatever. However you deal with blunders, because you're going to see a few in this analysis. All right, the first critical point of the game comes at move 13. In this position, I'm kind of worried that I have not developed fully yet. Neither is my opponent, but my opponent appears to have a little more flexibility than I do. And so I'm really worried about my light square bishop, because I feel like my queen can move and my rooks will be connected, and my development problems will be solved. And so I play the move bishop b7. But there actually is a much better move here. See if you can figure it out. All right. In this instance, in this position, you have to know what you're playing for. You have to know what your opponent has left a little bit weak. And in this position, I'm really playing for the center. My knights and my dark square bishop are really doing double duty, controlling the center of the board. And so the computer recommends here to play e5. Following up with if white plays d4, e takes, knight to f4, knight f to e7, knight takes d4, knight takes again, c captures, queen to d6, rook to e1. And what you have engineered here as black is an isolated pawn on the d file. This knight here is kind of misplaced. Now your light square bishop will absolutely come alive somewhere on the board, say here. Your knight on the second rank is very well placed. It has many places to go. It can do many things. It fits many roles here. And your dark square bishop is always going to harass the pawn on d4. The rooks will be connected. The rooks will come to the center of the board. And everything will be fine for you. And in this position, black is a little bit better at -0.4. The very next move, the outlaw plays knight f to g5. And this is clearly a mistake because it allows, while it does open up the king side for white, which is a goal that you might have in the game, it gives away a lot of material to make that happen, while I still have a good control of the center of the board, with my three best pieces being my dark square bishop and my 2 knights. I simply recaptured and continued pressing my advantage, but the computer actually recommends for knight to f4 here, with the idea of ganging up on this backwards e6 pawn. Queen has to come to d7 to defend. d4, cutting off my dark square bishop's control of that diagonal. g5 to attack the knight, and already you can see the problem here for black, which is that black's king is very widely exposed. With a couple of sacrifices, black's king will be very loose, and white has pieces that are ready to redirect and attack the king's side, while all of black's pieces are really tied up on the queen's side of the board and are rather stifled by pawns and pieces in the way of an attack. Following up with knight to d3, queen to g7 to fill some gaps here on the king's side for black, and bishop to c2, really loading up on that sparse king side. And in this position, white is considerably better at plus 1.9. The next critical position comes solidly in the middle game here, and it occurs as the outlaw has this seemingly momentum-filled attack against black's position. In this position, I regrettably play rook to f8 to defend my rook, worrying about pins, worrying about the king and the knight, or the queen and the knight coordinating against the black king. But this is terrible. It's a straight blunder, because we go from negative 8.5 in favor of black to plus 1.3, which is substantially in favor of white. There was a much better line here. See if you can find it. All right, if you said knight to h6, give yourself a prize, that is exactly what Stockfish recommends. And notice that the knight is doing two things. It's attacking the queen, so it's telling white you can't leave this knight on h3. You have to do something about it. And it also defends the rook. The line continues with bishop takes f7 check. Knight recaptures. Knight captures. King captures. Rook to e1. Queen to d6. Queen to h5 with check. King back to g8. And in this position, the evaluation is negative 9.0 in favor of black. The reason being that black has two bishops of compensation. And so in this position, you always have a threat of the queen coming onto the light squares for a diagonal battery against the king for a checkmate. Let's say white plays this annoying f3. Your rook is prepared to come to f8, or even sneakier, if you have enough time, your rook can come to c8, can go to c4, attack white's queen, but also even post up on g5 with the intention of checkmating patterns on the g file. Or, if white isn't careful, black will use the dark squares, because you do have your dark square bishop, and will occupy the h5 square with the rook, looking at checkmating ideas on the h2 square. This is just disastrous for white, and white only has this rook to guard the back rank, and even hope to try to infiltrate anywhere against black's king. Our third critical position happens a little bit later, about 10 moves later, and it's also about halfway through the game as well. In this position, queen takes pawn on h5, and here I play queen to c2, with the idea that perhaps I can go after this pawn and clear a path to queening for my a passed pawn on the d file. However, this is really slow, and my king is very loose, and white can easily punish this with many, many moves in this position. The outlaw chooses to go rook to f1, which sets up this not so insignificant threat of checkmate. In this position, instead, Stockfish recommends for black to play queen to e6. White's queen should go to h4. Queen to e3 with check. King to h1, getting out of the check. Queen to d2, again going after the pawn. in a bit of a roundabout way. Rook to e1, solidifying the checkmating threats on the back rank. Queen to h6, hoping for a queen trade. A queen trade is best here for white. And bishop to h6 with the recapture. And in this position, black is a little bit worse, with white being ahead plus 0.7. And the real stars of this show would appear to be the two passed pawns connected even on the king side with no obstacles in their path. The two bishops will find it very difficult to coordinate, and most likely they will at least one of them will be pressed into service to defend the king and some queening squares on the king side of the board, while the remaining 3 pawns for black are really tied up against the 3 pawns on the same files for white. White also has a rook, which will be very tricky against the 2 bishops. However, I kept my tricks alive, and we get to a position where king moves to g4, and I'm having visions of, can I snap off the queen from the board? My king is loose. I'm worried about the rook coming down to c2, perhaps even eventual skewers of my queen. And so in this position, I play bishop captures on c7, and this actually gives away what was a drawn position. It gives white the advantage at plus 3.8. In the game, what ought to have been played by black was queen to g2 with check, king to f5, then bishop takes c7, queen b2 with check, king takes on f3, queen to b7 with check, king f2, queen captures the bishop, queen h3 check, king e4, and now you have ideas of continuing the checks and even trying to pick up the pawn at some point on a3. And the game here will be dead even and a draw. In the game, however, I played queen to g2 with check. My opponent, with low time on the clock, played king to f4, and that gave me the skewer of queen to h2 check, which is mate in 13 for black because it picks up the queen wherever the king goes. Let's say king here, and it's game over for white. All right, thank you for joining us for this exciting, fantastic game that kept us all on the edge of our seats to the very end. If you like this game, please hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. And if you enjoy our games and enjoy our analysis of games, please be sure to hit the subscribe button as well. And leave a comment if you saw any moves or lines in the game that the players didn't take that would have changed the outcome of the game dramatically. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.